Hello, hello, hello. Gonna give everybody a few minutes to make their way on in. I literally just got off of work. I rushed home. Hey, Foxy Roxy. I just got off of work training one of my bikini pros. I rushed home and now I am ready to catch up with all of you. Thank you guys for joining me. I wasn't gonna do this. Hey y'all, hey Team Teefab in the house. I appreciate you guys. I wasn't even gonna do this live thing, but you know, I just decided to keep shining my light. I'm excited to catch up. Hey Queen, hey Danny. I'm just gonna keep shining my light. It's a lot of things that happened last year when I started doing the live series, but it's a lot of takeaways. So I want y'all to know, when you're walking in your purpose, when you're walking in your calling, there are going to be things that happen beyond your control, but you just have to push through and keep doing what you were purposed to do. So that's the purpose of me coming back with this live, and it's also a segue to other projects, and I know that this is an area in which I need to stay consistent, so I'm going to try my best. But today's show or this live stream is just to catch y'all up on a lot of things that's been going on. So that's the intention. So I like to always start with my intention. So my intention today is to just catch everybody up on the 2023 season and to let everybody know things that went on in my life and encourage somebody, because a lot of you guys went through similar events and don't have a safe space. A lot of you privately DM me when I made my video about grief and things like that. So we're going to cover some of those things today. Also, my intention is to promote the upcoming events. You know, I didn't stop anything that I was supposed to do, so I'm still promoting my two events, which is the OCB Commit to Fit Transformation Show, as well as the Battle of the Biceps for Strict Curl Nation. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I appreciate you guys that have come into the live. I will be posting this to the wall, and of course, it'll be available on my YouTube. Hey, Teefab. I appreciate you guys. All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to back things up to last year. Last year is actually when I started TeeTalk Live. It was a Instagram Live that I was doing. I was trying to be consistent with it. And in the midst of that, and my purpose was to promote my events and also engage with my followers and also promote Strict Curl. So we actually had a lot of success from that, because we were able to discuss issues going on in the curl world. We were able to discuss and highlight some of the commit to fitters and the transformers. So I had a lot of success for that. I was also able to connect with a lot of people that had questions, not only about strict curl and about transformation, bodybuilding, powerlifting, my journey, heart moms, caregivers, and just people with general weight loss questions. It was a good way for me to connect with you. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to try my best to stay consistent. I'm not going to say I'm doing this weekly, because I work about 5 jobs, but I'll try my best to have some type of consistency with reaching out to you and connecting with you in that way. So last year, I started TeeTalk Live. I had a very good response. The main thing that made me start the live series was to use my voice with things that I saw going on in the curl world, and then it just evolved to other things. And it was very successful. So just backtracking, one of the initial episodes, I addressed a lot of things that were lacking as far as strict curl. And I talked about how the meets needed to upgrade and how the athletes should be treated, and fairness. And I even called out some people on some things that I saw or that was made aware to me. And I used my platform to speak against that. Since then, we have seen improvement. I know a lot of people thought that the post or the live stream was controversial at the time, because I did, pretty much call it how I saw it. But as a result of that, I didn't mind playing the bad guy, because as a result of that, we saw 100% Raw have one of the best worlds that they ever had. Not only did they have things top notch as far as the weights all look the same and by the same company, they also had a pro curl and gave out cash to lifters and things like that. So I would like to be honest and say I think I had an influence in that, because they weren't doing that before. I talked about some of the things that needed to improve. I also talked about how we needed to make sure that the athletes were treated fairly and how things shouldn't be questionable in putting on a meet. And we've seen these meets and things that I actually addressed improved since then. It did have me, you know, on the outskirts. A lot of people had me be the voice, and then they reap the benefits, but I don't mind. That's part of being a leader. But I was able to call those things out, and I was able to see improvement, so I have no regrets on that. And strict curlers, you're welcome. All right, so other than that, so last year I did 3 strict curl competitions. I kicked things off with doing the Arnold last year. I was able to walk away with the overall. I was able to win my second championship at the Arnold in Columbus, Ohio in strict curl, and definitely dominated the 148s. I went on from there, and I went out to CT Fletcher's World Championships, and I was able to win my 4th or 5th title out there with CT Fletcher. And then I ended up doing the ISCA East Coast with Wyatt up in New York. So those were the 3 strict curl meets that I did. Shout out to Wyatt. That was actually one of the best pro curl meets because he gave out $1,000 to the heaviest lift. And that came right out of his pocket. So shout out to Wyatt for giving that back to the strict curlers. And again, that backtracks to one of the things I said about me being able to use my voice and improve things and improve conditions and payouts and hardware for the athletes. So that was enjoyable. I also went on to do 3 bodybuilding shows. My intention was just to do one, and I'll tell you why I kept going in just a moment. So I started my season off in Minnesota at the Natural Viking. I loved the hardware. So they gave out swords. They also gave out crowns to all of the top 3. It was a well-run show. Things were a little bit different as far as how I was used to in the OCB, but overall I feel like the athletes were pleased, and so it was a great show. I love the hardware. I love the swag. So the Natural Viking is a show for you pro ladies to put on the list, okay? From there, I went on to do the Chesapeake Classic with the OG, Bobby Covino. I appreciated the swag on that show. It was top-notch. I haven't been spoiled like that. I mean, the boxes that he gave, the pro boxes were amazing. From the moment you arrived there to the moment you left, you knew it was a pro show. You knew he was a super promoter. And shout out to Bobby. That was a wonderful time. It also was a show that I did because my husband could come watch me compete. So, you know, when you turn a pro in OCB especially, the shows aren't in your backyard anymore. So you do have to travel, which is one of the reasons why it's important for the payouts to be what the payouts need to be, because you spend so much in prep, and then, you know, you're doing that, and the cost of getting there is another huge expense. So I was glad to see OCB raise the payouts. But Bobby's show was excellent. It was right in Maryland. My husband was able to go and watch me compete. He hadn't seen me compete since I made my pro debut back in 2019, something like that, 2018. So he was able to see me compete again, and so that was awesome. So then from there, I went to do my final show, and that was Battle of the Beach down in Alabama. And that was a wonderful show as well. One of the things I liked about it, it was quick. He put the pros on, gave you your hardware, and then you got to go. So I love that format. I mean, I know that we do live stream now, and we kind of elevated in the OCB, but I love getting the pros on and getting them out the way. I think that's excellent. So hint to other promoters, let's keep that going. So like I said, my intention was just to do one show. I had the curl meets on the map. Wyatt's competition came back later. But what I wasn't very vocal about is last year I lost 2 of my nephews within 5 months. So I was actually set to head judge the Colonial for OCB. And during that time, I had got a call, and at the end of the events, my nephew, 19 months, had passed away. So that was a traumatic experience. I had to leave and go straight to the hospital. And it really shook my world. To this day, we don't have answers. He was out of the window for SIDS, so it wasn't classified as SIDS. So that really took a toll on me mentally and sent me to a grief. Tried its best to send me to a depression. But I knew that I needed to continue my prep because I had to have some type of structure. And so that's the reason why I'm sharing that with you guys. I talked a little bit about it on a live before one of my shows last year, and I had a great response, and so many people DM me about how they were experiencing the same. But for me, I had to be honest with myself, and I knew that it wasn't overeating for me. It was I didn't want to eat at all. I didn't want to really get out of the bed. I went through a period of questioning God. I went through all the emotions you can think of. I'm close to all of my family, but with my nephews, I birthed my nephew that passed and his brother. So I was the doula for them. I literally was the first face that he saw when the doctor brought him on out to say, hey, hello world. So it hit me kind of hard, and was very traumatic. So in the process of going through grief, we had also lost our founder, Matt. So it was a lot of things that kicked off in the year. So in the process of going through grief, I knew that I had to stay structured, because my mantra as a coach is to lead by example. I can't lay in the bed all day. I can't feel sorry for myself. I can't miss my meals. And if I didn't stay on prep at that point, I wasn't going to eat anything. I didn't even know if I was going to show up to train, show up to coach, show up to do anything. And that's just me being honest. So I decided to stay on prep and continue my season for that reason. And then within 5 months, my older nephew was murdered and passed away. So I went through losing 2 nephews in 5 months. So it was one of the worst years of my life, other than when my daughter had her cardiac issue and her heart transplant. It sent me back through a lot of trauma that I thought I was healed from. It triggered me in ways that I never thought that I would experience, especially this soon. So that was why I stayed on prep. And I share that to say, everybody has a different why. I always say this. Everybody has a different reason. But I was able to have a successful season. I was able to go out and MC shows and keep my energy high and, coach my athletes and do all of the things that I needed to do as far as showing up. But there were times when I didn't even want to show up for myself. And staying on structure and having accountability helped me with that. I definitely cannot continue or not give credit to my Queen Crew sisters. My sisters, Danny, Tina, and Keisha, held me down. I mean, y'all saw us. We were out there traveling. They came to my competitions. They supported me. They had firsthand knowledge of the struggles that my family was going through, and they held me up. So, when you're in those moments, don't think that you could do it by yourself, because you're doing a disservice to yourself. I honestly feel like I wouldn't be at this point in my healing, and I'm not all the way healed, but I wouldn't be at this point in my healing if it wasn't for my friends having my back, keeping me laughing, supporting me in a way, and helping me through that. So that's one of the reasons, or what I wanted to start with, just letting you guys know that that's one of the reasons why I just didn't keep up the TeeTalk. I just needed time for me. I needed time to heal. And, grief comes in many forms and many phases. I mean, just the other night doing cardio, I broke down missing my nephew. So I'm not saying I'm all the way healed, but I needed just time to pull back, and I needed structure in my life, and prep provided that for me. And, to the glory of God, I still was able to have a successful season. I walked away with the pro payout. I placed top 3 in my first show. I was able to win all of my curl competitions. I still promoted my events and showed up and had successful events. Commit to Fit was better than the year before. Battle of the Biceps was amazing. So just for somebody watching this, when life deals you a hand that you don't know how you can survive, just keep showing up. And if you don't feel like you're going to show up for yourself, lock into someone who you feel like you can show up for. Let people be there for you. I'm Mr. Independent. I've always been that way. And I think the last couple years, I actually have been letting people in. Trauma builds walls around you. So, your safe space is just keeping people out. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to be betrayed. But I think God aligned me with those women, because he knew that I would have to walk through this season. So thank you to my Queen Crew sisters. Thank you to Team Teefab. My team was amazing. We definitely had to restructure the team a little bit, and I'll get into that in a moment. But the team stepped up to the plate, and it was such a joy. Even now today, it's such a joy to go in and coach my team. So I appreciate you guys. When I posted my live stream before my second show, again, I kind of let everybody know that I was going through grief. And so many of you reached out and said, me too, me too, me too. There is no time limit on grief. It could be 10 years. It could be 10 months. It could be 100 years. I don't care. there is no time limit because death is so final. So there's no timeline on that. And so many of you guys was like, you know what, that's what's pushing me through. I'm glad you said it. I'm going through that myself. One of my figure sisters the other day commented that she's still dealing with grief from a family member, getting gunned down. So, take your time. Let people in. Let them rally around you. Be honest about what you're feeling. Feel the feelings, but let it be a moment. Don't get stuck there. And so that's my advice to anybody dealing with grief. Again, I am on the upper side of healing, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to be talking to you now. But it is a journey. It is a process. And so I appreciate you guys sticking with me. So that's my opener, okay? So we talked about the shows. We had some restructuring in the team, but the team grew. So I know last time I had a lot of questions come in, and one of them was, have you ever cut anybody from the team? And I was like, nah. Well, today the answer is yes. I did have to make a cut from the team. So when we started 2023 season, I had 3 female athletes in pursuit of a pro card. One of them did end up getting cut because of things that I just cannot tolerate with as a coach. But the other 2 athletes that stayed on the team was able to achieve their goal. I was able to produce a figure pro last season. She won her pro card on her second show. Shout out to Keisha the Phoenix. I was able to produce a bikini pro who also won her pro card on her second show. Shout out to Dr. Deanna, the total package, okay? So those were amazing. Like I said, it was a great year, but it also was a roller coaster year because I had trauma on board. But somehow God kept his hand on the queen, because I was still able to do everything that was on my plate, and it was a lot on my plate. So I'm excited about, the champ is in the house. Hey, champ. So I'm excited about the growth of the team. At one point, I was running 20 athletes on the team. So, Team Teefab was booked and busy, and we were knocking down goals. And everybody on the team is not a bodybuilder per se. I had some athletes that were curling. I had, hey, champ. I want to say champ, so stay in prep. If you're in prep, I don't know. But yeah, I had athletes pursuing run goals. I had athletes pursuing not just pro card or bodybuilding or stage goals, but curl goals, powerlifting goals. So it's amazing. So I was able to lead by example and push through all of that and still have a successful season. All right, so let's go into this year. So I just got back. My last competition was the Arnold. So remember what I said when we started this, all right? So the Arnold for strict curl this year had none other than the Godfather himself, CT Fletcher, present, okay? Now, I'd already had my own relationship with CT because I've been out to his gym and curled with him in LA several times. That is Pops. I am his Queen of Curls, and that who gave me the name Queen of Curls. But to have him at the Arnold was an amazing experience, because a lot of the curlers that cannot go out to his facility or out to the West Coast was able to meet him and form that bond with him or make that connection with him. Also, it was also a blessing for me to see, because at one time CT couldn't travel because, he is a heart transplant recipient himself, which is why we bonded so much, what brought me out to him. So to see him be able to fly and not have an issue with his feet and an issue with fluid, we kept it sports related, but that was a testimony in itself. So if you saw me emotional there, it was plenty of reasons, not just because I was thinking about, the passing of my nephews or everything that I've been through, but it was such a testimony to see him there and see him with, that same energy like he had when he was at his best. And even now, if you follow him on social, you will see that he is just, doing amazing things. He's training in the gym. He's even have this archive that he has out where he's showing you like old school routines. And I have been putting my team through it. So if you had that split workout this week, you can credit CT Fletcher for that. You're welcome. So the Arnold was amazing. I was able to pull out the 148 win. So I was able to take home my 3rd championship on that. The overall went to that little tiny little killer, Ashley. Shout out to Ashley. She took home the overall when she almost curled her body weight. So I'm excited to see more things about her or from her. I already knew she was a top contender. She's been curling ever since I've been curling. And I'm going to have a separate show dedicated just to strict curl, and we'll make sure we shout out everything that happened at the Arnold. So moving on, Teefab Presents is still kicking. So I have 2 events that I'm promoting this year. And same events as last year, the OCB Commit to Fit. This year we had 50 people register. As I always say, just because a transformer registers doesn't mean they'll make it to that transformation stage. You got to remember this is a 6-month transformation contest, and anything can happen in 6 months. But the transformers that I'm seeing now are looking good. They are posting their, progress every week. They're very active, and I'm looking forward to the show. That show takes place Sunday, June 9th, and it is at the ODU Theater, and it's going to be amazing. One of the things that I will have a show dedicated strictly to Commit to Fit before Commit to Fit to answer those specific questions. One of the things that I've been wrestling with is, will I live stream the show? If you've been to the Commit to Fit show, you can understand my perspective. When the Transformers take the stage, they share very intimate stories about their life and their transformation journey, the same as what I shared when we started this live stream. So I'm still kind of thinking about whether I want to live stream it or not, but I do want to say, come to the show. Every year, and I've been promoting this show, this is going to be my 3rd year, the audience is always brought to tears, and some of the things that the Transformers share are personal things. So I just want to tell you to come to the show. I share what I can share after the fact, but I don't want to violate people's privacy, or maybe some people share a little more than they intended, but they're caught up in the moment. But it's going to be an amazing show. I have 3 team members that are 3 or 4. I have 4 team members that are in the show, so I'm excited to show that their progress on the stage. So again, that takes place in Norfolk ODU Theater on June the 9th, and it's a Sunday, and it's in the Virginia Beach area, so you can make a beach weekend out of it. It is summertime, so hopefully you guys come to this show. If you're thinking about doing the show, come see it. I'll post everything I can on social after. I like to always interview different Transformers that have amazing stories after, so stay tuned for that. Those will be separate episodes of TeeTalk Live. The other event that I'm promoting, which I promoted last year, was the Battle of the Biceps Part 2. So that is taking place on July 27th. On my last live stream, I said the wrong date. Sorry, you guys. We did end up changing the date at the last minute. It's going to be July 27th. It's at the Chaos Lab, which is my home gym. We are going to have custom awards from Abel again. I did a live stream on my curl sesh last week, I think, and I had an amazing response to my strict curl family and people that were interested in strict curl in general, watching that and DMing me. So I'm going to try to do a little more of that, since I'm going to be kind of training from home just a little bit, since I'm so busy as far as my curls. So look out for that. I train curls today, so you're not going to get that this week. But maybe next week we'll do a live curl session. I'll share with you some tips on things that help me increase my strict curl, okay? So that's coming. So again, if you're interested in signing up or coming to check out Battle of the Biceps Part 2, the link for it is in my link tree. So go to my bio, click my link tree, and the link is there. Same thing with Commit to Fit. If you want to purchase tickets to that or just want more information about Commit to Fit and what it is, you can go to the link tree, and the link is in my live stream, okay? I think that I covered everything so far, and I did have a lot of questions, so I'm going to get into some questions so I'm not up here too long. But I had a lot of questions come in, and I'll cover what I can cover today, and then the rest of the questions will be in a separate TeeTalk Live, okay? So one of the questions that came to me, and it's going to be a little vague because I feel like it deserves a separate episode, was talking about peak week. So just to circle back, everybody's peak week is different. One of the things that I found in my own experience is a lot of people say peak week is like hell week. It's not hell week if you prepare for it. So I'll just leave it there. But I will say that is such a specific question that I'd rather save that answer for a bodybuilding type of TeeTalk Live. So we'll circle back. But peak week does not have to be bad if you prepare yourself the right way for it and you have everything, you dial in properly, you have the right coaching, or you have the right plan in place. It doesn't have to be. It's actually one of the most enjoyable weeks because it's the week that you see your body change the most drastically in a short amount of time. So that's what I love about peak week. Your body literally looks different from morning to night. And so it's a beautiful thing to see, especially to learn about the body, okay? All right, so let's get into the other questions. So, is it possible to gain muscle strength while losing fat? Yes, it is. And I'm so certain to say it because I have definitely gained strength while losing fat. backtracking a second, one thing that I forgot to also mention, and this correlates to muscle and strength. I also injured myself last year too. If you watched me curl, and some of the promoters or some of my colleagues or my brothers and sisters in iron know this, I also hurt my back last year. So my stage weight got down to 124, and I was still trying to keep my full curl cycle. And doing that, my warm-up, I did not change. So if you can imagine, I still was trying to curl 120 and I was down in the 140s. That's a lot on the frontal plane. So I ended up hurting my back, and then I had scapular winging as a result, and I had some erector issues like a sprain. But I still was able to complete my season. I still was able to, somehow win my curl competitions. But if you notice in my posing on any of those YouTube videos that I probably never want to watch again, my scapular winging is out of control. When I get into my back pose, one of the scapulas, my left scapula pops out and does its own thing, and then it just collapses. So again, no excuses, push through, but I don't recommend that. I brought that up to say that I actually did increase strength for a while I was leaning out. So it was possible. But I think I did end up, because I extended that season too long, like I told y'all, for the reason of grief, I did end up burning up some muscle. So it is possible to gain strength while leaning out, right? Lean gains is a thing. But a lot of things come into play. Genetics come into play, your nutrition comes into play, your consistency with lifting comes into play, and then lifestyle factors like sleep, metabolics, like what are you taking your supplements correctly? Are you getting the right supplementation? So there's a lot of factors, but yes, you can gain muscle and strength while getting leaner. Now, are you on a weight loss journey to build muscle? They're not the same. They have two different elements, but it is possible. And I actually have a team member right now, and she's in Commit to Fit, that has lost about 13 pounds, but also put on muscle. I'm not going to say her name because she grinds in silence, but you're going to have to wait for Commit to Fit. So yes, it's possible, but a lot of things come into play when doing that, okay? Next question was, what is my personal mantra that I say to myself when things get hard? My personal mantra that I say to myself when things, like, I don't like to fail. I am very stubborn about my goals. So when I feel like things get hard for me, it just lights a fire under me to keep going, as you can tell from the things I said when I started this episode. When life deals me a rough hand, when things get hard, when I'm on a downswing, it just fuels me to stay in pursuit. I don't like to fail. I don't like to fail at anything. I don't like to fail at life. I don't like to fail at my goals. I just don't like to fail. And I believe that if God gave me a vision of doing something, he's going to equip me to do that. So when things get hard, my mantra is that I know that it's time to turn it up. It's time to push even further and overcome that thing. So that's my mantra. No excuses, no defeat. If you set a goal, you're going to accomplish it. And I keep that mindset, and that's what powers me through when things get hard. Next question is, what has been the toughest goal you set and accomplished, and what was the process like? So two answers for that. Sports related, the toughest goal that I set for myself probably was, when I went to an untested meet and wanted to win overall best lifter. So I went to the Olympia Pro, where I'm not trying to be shady, but there's really not a natural athlete presence there. And I set the goal to win the overall. And I did, which is why I had to video. But I'm not one to cry on camera. Some people do that, but I don't really do that intentionally. But that's why I had to take that video in the moment. And I was crying like snot tears because I did that thing. So that was the hardest for me. Non-sports related, when my daughter was waiting for a heart, being patient, not getting angry, not questioning God, not losing my mind. I literally came to the edge of a nervous breakdown where they were literally about to bar me from the hospital. They sat me down and said, if this happens again, you can't be in her room, because I was going to be considered a danger to her because I can't be falling out. Non-sports related, the goal of just keeping my mind together, keeping my sanity, and being tougher than my circumstance. And you know what I did? When they gave me that talk, I ended up joining a gym in Durham near Duke. and I end up starting meal prep, and I was prepping in that hospital, and I was leaving an hour a day, and I was going to that gym, and that balanced my mind, and I was able to stick through that whole heart transplant journey. So non-sports related, that was the goal. Like my daughter is leaving this hospital, and a lot of the kids there did not, which is why I have layers of trauma, because I bond with everybody. But my goal was, we going home. And we went home, and we still home. So that was that. All right, next question. What has been the craziest thing a client has asked me? I'm going to take out the word client, because I've been wanting to address this to lighten up the mood. The craziest thing that I have ever been asked, and I told my queen crew about this, is how do you get your neck like that? Okay, so I'm actually a little bit fluffy now, but you actually can still see it. But when I get a little leaner, and especially when I pose for pictures like this, see how my neck looks? I had somebody DM me and ask, how do I get my neck like that? I do not train neck, no diddy. I don't have a neck routine. I just am lean here. I don't know if that's from lifting or something. So if you see me in a picture like this, there's nothing wrong with me. I just don't have body fat right there. So that was the weirdest question somebody has ever, and it's been several. I have had several people say, how's your neck like that? How you get your neck like that? It's just my neck. So, and after you do one bodybuilder show, when you train, you always pose in the picture. So I'm always like this. And I guess it does look weird, but I don't train neck. No diddy. Okay, it's just like that. All right. Next question. How did I get into Olympic lifting, and then why did I pick strict curls? So, I started off in CrossFit, and if you know, CrossFit lifting is pretty much Olympic lifting. I mean, they do have the compounds like deadlift and squat, but most of the variations are Olympic lifting. So that's where I started my fitness journey on my adult side of life, or my competitive side. So I got into Olympic lifting in CrossFit, and I actually was an avid CrossFitter for about 6 years, and I actually competed in CrossFit. So that's where I got my start. So that's what got me into Olympic lifting. If you're on Team Teefab, you can tell that, because when I say we train everything, we train everything. So we actually incorporate Olympic lifting in our training, okay? So yes, that's where I got that. Why did I pick strict curl? I stumbled into strict curl just coincidentally, and I actually did interview with Coach Gaglione. Shout out to Coach Gaglione about how I got started. But I was going into a powerlifting meet, and I just wanted to sign up for everything, and that's a tip for you athletes, sign up for everything. I just wanted to sign up for everything that I was eligible for, and strict curl was a lift. I didn't even know what it was. They had, squat, bench, and deadlift, which was what I trained for. But then I saw this strict curl thing, and I was like, well, let me try that too. I just want to win everything at that point. I was on the other side of trauma. I'm popping out. I lost 75 pounds. I'm like, we're going to do it all now. And so I tried strict curl. I had never trained for it, and I fell in love with it. I spent a couple years just competing, not training. And then once I started to train in it, I found out that I was very proficient and even gifted in the lift. And so that's how I got into that. I ain't gonna say I picked it. I think maybe strict curl chose me. No. But yeah, I kind of stumbled across it, and now it's turned into my main lift. I never thought that. I was always that deadlift girl. I've been undefeated in deadlift since 2017. I have never lost. So that is my baby. But it just so happens I'm undefeated in curl now too. So why not? So yeah, that's how I got started in that. Just coincidentally, just trying something. So whenever I do my consultations, I always tell potential Team Teefab members, just try. You don't know what you're going to fall in love with. You don't actually know what you're gifted in or what you could be proficient in until you try. And that, just because you're older doesn't mean you shouldn't try. I didn't do my first bodybuilding show until I was 30, I don't know. I wasn't 40 yet. Maybe under 38. Yeah, 37, 38. I didn't do my first powerlifting meet until I was 38, 37, 38. So it's not too late. It's not too late. You just try it, and you don't know what you're going to fall in love with. And those very things might change your life. If I hadn't tried to do a bodybuilding show, if I hadn't just tried to do a powerlifting meet, if I hadn't just tried to do strict curl, I wouldn't be a coach. I wouldn't be a natural pro. I wouldn't be the queen of curls. All it took was just me trying. And then I was like, you know what? I can do this. And so I passed that on to you guys. Just try. So when you get off of this, I want you to set your intentions. Think of that thing that you've always wanted to try. I always ask people to go back to that thing that they dream about doing. What is that thing that you dream about doing? Okay, just go ahead and try to do it. Because if you got a dream, you got it for a reason, you know? So what is that thing that you always wanted to try? What is stopping you? What are you scared of? Even if you're scared, just do it scared. But you just never know how proficient you could be. So make sure you are just chasing your goals, creating goals, chasing your goals, dreaming, and never stop dreaming. I have no plans on retirement. Lord willing, I'm going to be curling until I'm 85 or older. I'm going to, try my best to deadlift. It might just be with some dumbbells or plastic weights. But I'm going to just keep doing what I, like to do as long as I can do it. That's goals for me. That's the end goal. The end goal is just being around. And then I had somebody ask me, shout out to Angel. So I think Angel, one of my OCB sisters, Angel, had DM'd me. And she's a caregiver mom too. And she had actually asked me the best question that I've ever been asked, and I've done a lot of interviews. She asked me, what is it that motivates me to keep doing what I do? Because if you notice, since 2017, I haven't had an off season. I compete in one sport or another every year, and I am kind of tired. I think about retirement every day, but we're going to push through. But anyway, knowing my backstory, I have a child with unique needs that probably will need a caregiver or need me for her entire life, and I don't have any other children. So knowing that I have to be around for her is really what motivates me to do everything that I'm doing. And I'm going to try not to cry because y'all know I'm a big baby, but I'm a G. But I don't have any other siblings. Any other children. She doesn't have any siblings. So I have to live as long as I can to be here to care for her as long as I can. So if that means that I'm going to be 84 in the gym, guess what? Queen Teefab going to be 84 in the gym because my child needs me to be around as long as I can, because ain't nobody going to take care of her like mama. Nobody. Ain't nobody going to understand her like mama. Ain't nobody going to know her like mama. So I got to be around. So that's what motivates me to keep doing what I do. And I think that's a good stopping point to end this episode, you guys. Look out for more episodes of TeeTalk Live. I'll try to keep you posted when I get a little break in my schedule to do it. I am going to try to go live with my strict curl session next week. I do have a pointer that I definitely wanted to share with y'all. I got a lot of feedback when I broke down the curl as far as that conventional curl and that shrug curl. So I appreciate you guys, just enjoying that. And I said if I get good feedback, I keep it going. So I'm going to keep my word. Also, it's my birthday month. The Queen turns 44 on the 22nd. So don't forget to look out so you can birthday shout out a Queen. Shout out to Team Teefab, man. I just want to say before I go, it is such an honor to be your guys' coach. You guys make me better. You guys keep me pushing. Every day I get up and do what I do because I want to lead by example for you guys. Thank you for choosing me, all right? And yes, I do have a few openings. If you go to the link tree, you can set up a virtual consultation. I appreciate you guys joining me. I will try to do this more often. I am going to celebrate. And I didn't forget about this question because everybody always want to know what's next, what you got coming up next. What I have coming up next is to continue to be great. How about that? Y'all know we grind in silence over here. Thank you, Keisha. I shouted you out earlier, but you got in late, so you're going to have to watch it back. But hopefully you were working out, which is why you got in here late. Love you, Foxy Roxy. I appreciate you guys. So I got to go now because I got everything done except for my cardio. And I got to snatch this waist for my birthday. So that means I got to do a little cardio. So until next time, thank you guys for being so awesome. Keep me and my family lifted as we still navigate our grief and trauma journey. If you are in that state, I am sending love and light to you. Remember, no excuses. You can still be successful with your goals while still navigating through the trials of life. I am a living testimony of that. Since the day I started until today, I have been dealt trauma after trauma, but I've somehow managed to still achieve my goals and become one of the best at what I do. Love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll check in with you on the next TeeTalk Live. Good night, Fab family.